Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandat pranams.
Dandavat pranam, Mataji. So you can hear me, you can see the PPT also.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I will start with Mangalacharan prayers. I hope other devotees will join now. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Once again, a very warm welcome to all devotees. I hope you have been chanting extra rounds on this auspicious another Ekadashi day. We are continuing. Actually, we are studying a 7-book series of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrt. And today, we are ending the 6th volume. Next, we'll be starting the final volume of the series. So this is the chapter 8 of the penultimate volume. Then with the next volume, we will be concluding. So thank you for staying with us all these days. Now, Prabhupada has completed a whirlwind tour of the world, and now Prabhupada is back in Vrindavan, and that's what we are seeing. And you remember, Vrindavan temple opening day was fixed earlier, and it became a fiasco. Everybody had gathered, but unfortunately, the temple was not ready. So next date was fixed, and that was to be Ramanavami Day, right? In 1975. So April 16, and Prabhupada is again back after his world tour, and he's looking at the temple. He has come to Vrindavan. He's in the temple, and he's seeing the temple is completely ready. Very minor works only pending, but otherwise nobody can say that it is incomplete. The 3 domes over Gaurnitai, Krishna Balram, Radha Shamsundar, Lalita Vishaka, those 3 tall domes are ready. Those of you have seen, you will all recollect. So that was built by Surabhi Prabhu in a short span of only 8 months. After Prabhupada's departure, you remember all the cement had come miraculously, and Surabhi said, now we'll be able to proceed. And accordingly, working day and night in shifts, 24-hour working. Many things are 24-hour with Srila Prabhupada, and this is one of those things. 24-hour working, and the temple had been completed. And when Prabhupada saw the 3 domes rising into the sky, and on top of that, copper kalash, and above that, the chakra, and above that, the victory flag. And when he saw all this, Prabhupada became very, very happy. And Prabhupada is taking a walking tour around the temple, and coming from outside, and you will climb down a set of stairs, and then you will be on a kind of a veranda, right, with marble and all that. Then you will go further towards the altar, and then you will climb some more steps, and then you will be there on the altar platform. And above you, you will see the three altars of Krishna Balram in the center, Gaurnita in the left, and Radha Shyam Sundar Lalita Vishaka on the right side. And you will also see in front of Radha Shyam Sundar, below, that is from the deity platform, the platform where devotees are taking darshan, you will come down and then you will see a tamal tree, right? That tamal tree has been preserved. At that time, it was a small tree, but by now, Prabhupada saw it was a big tree with a very big, what do you call, canopy, right? So many branches and all that. It was luxuriously standing in front of Radha Shyam Sundar. Prabhupada was so happy. Prabhupada said when we started the building, devotees wanted to cut down this tree. They did not want it because it will obstruct the view and all. But tamal trees are very rare in Vrindavan. Somehow we have a tamal tree here now in our campus. Let it remain and build around the tree. So accordingly, the temple had been built around the tree, and the tree stands even today. So Prabhupada was so happy to see all these things. And then as they were taking a walk, Prabhupada said, "Oh, the domes have come out very nice. What do you think?" And the devotees said, "Yes, they are magnificent." Hamsadutta Prabhu said. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, "Yes, Prabhupada, I think Surabhi has done a nice job." Because Surabhi has received so much of chastisement from Srila Prabhupada in the presence of others. It has happened many times before. So everybody is feeling he has actually done a very good job. So Prabhupada smiled. He said, "Yes." And Prabhupada added, "Everyone is telling how nice Surabhi is doing." And then Prabhupada turned to Surabhi, who had gone with almost no sleep for weeks. That is how he had made this project to come to fruition in such a short time. And Prabhupada said, "But I can't say that. Everybody can say, but I can't say that. Only me, I am criticizing you because that is my job. I have to always criticize the disciple." What do you think, devotees? I would like to hear your reaction. What do you think? When Prabhupada says like this.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Only when we get chastisement, we will try to improve, and we will never feel that we are advancing. Or we will always be humble, so that we'll try to advance further and engage in service.
And it is such a tough job for a guru to do that, no? Because as a Vaishnava, one doesn't like to find fault with others, actually. A true Vaishnava never tries to find fault with others. And when you talk about a Uttama Vaishnava, which is what Srila Prabhupada is, he sees Krishna everywhere. So Uttama Vaishnava has to come down to the level of Madhyama in order to even do preaching. Uttama cannot even preach. But Prabhupada is actually such a Uttama devotee. He sees Krishna everywhere. But he has to come down to the level of Madhyama platform. But even a Madhyama devotee doesn't like to find fault with others. It is only at the Kanishta platform that you actually find fault. But as a spiritual master, it becomes his duty. So it's not a very pleasant task, but it is a duty. But at the same time, do you think Prabhupada was only finding fault with his devotees from the time he went to America in 1965? Very much the opposite. Prabhupada never found fault. Prabhupada did practically everything himself. He never criticized others. In Prabhupada's own flat, Prabhupada had to stand in a queue to use the washroom. They would be standing in a queue, and Prabhupada never criticized, "Hey, you fellows, you don't know how to respect a spiritual master." Prabhupada never. And they would take prasadam, Prabhupada would be serving them. Rather, they should be serving Prabhupada, but Prabhupada was serving. And they would eat and throw the plates and go. Prabhupada had to do the washing. Never did Prabhupada criticize. And they would eat so much. The hippies were famished a lot because they had left home, they had no money, and they were starving almost all the time. Prabhupada fed them to this level, to the neck and even to the nose. Prabhupada never complained you are eating too much. Prabhupada just fed them happily. So actually, Prabhupada never found fault. When did Prabhupada start finding fault? By that time, the devotees attained a certain level. And that was the time the Guru has to even take them further higher. And that is when Prabhupada started criticizing. Actually, when Prabhupada says, I do only criticize, it's quite the opposite. Prabhupada was not the one who would constantly criticize others. Right? Prabhupada knew how they would take it and how it will help them. And that is when Prabhupada would give criticism. Not that a spiritual master, left, right, and center, he was always criticizing. He knew what the devotee needs and ready for it. Then Prabhupada was giving. So Prabhupada says, I am only criticizing you. That means he's not happy doing it actually. As spiritual master also, it's not a happy job to be finding fault and criticizing others, chastising others. But it is a service Srila Prabhupada is doing, both to his Guru Maharaj and to the disciple, that to bring them up, to develop them into nice devotees. So 600 devotees from all over the world had gathered now for the inauguration of Krishna Balram temple. And they had all come as part of annual Indian pilgrimage, right? Every year they were coming. Prabhupada, from the year 69-70, Prabhupada started. Every year they have been coming. They would go to Mayapur, they would go to Vrindavan and a few other places, and they get charged, and then they return to their respective places for preaching. So this time, 600 worldwide devotees are attending the inauguration. And interestingly, a 40-room guest house was also ready. In this short time, a 40-room guest house also had been prepared. You remember Gurudas Prabhu was put in charge of the guest house. Guest house is ready and it is occupied by VIP guests, major donors and life members, sponsors like that. These people are occupying. So finally, Srila Prabhupada's vision for Vrindavan has come to pass. The best, the most vibrant temple in Vrindavan, you can imagine. Actually, much later, when footfall started increasing, people from all over India started visiting Vrindavan. Otherwise, people from the rest of India did not know Vrindavan existed. Only the most serious devotees, mostly coming from Bengal, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only started all these temples, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through his Goswami disciples, 6 Goswamis, he identified the pastime places of Lord Krishna, Radha Krishna, and then he got temples built in all these places. The Goswamis built their own temples, and also all these places are marked by temples, where pastimes had happened. And even then, after the disappearance of Mahaprabhu and all, the rest of India did not know the glories of Vrindavan. People know Ram Janmabhoomi, Ayodhya, where Ram took birth, and Mathura as the Krishna Janmabhoomi, and they would visit the birthplace of Lord Krishna. Vrindavan was not in the plan of anyone. Many people would come to Mathura and go. Even today, you ask. Many people would just know Mathura only. Vrindavan, very rarely people come. But after Krishna Balram temple came, people started noticing Vrindavan. And then footfall started increasing. And that is when other temples started coming up. Other temples. There was a time when Krishna Balram temple was the only landmark in Raman Reddy. There was hardly anything else. Now you see Raman Reddy, there are so many temples far, far bigger than our own temple, right? Much, much bigger and much more ornamented, beautiful marble like that. But even then, the most vibrant temple in Vrindavan, it still continues to be Krishna Balram temple. You go to those magnificent temples, there will be a lot of people coming and going. They will just come like a tour. They will go around the temple. They will collect some prasadam and they will appreciate the beautiful floors, the walls, the ornate pillars and the darshan, and then they go. There is hardly anything else to do. Except in Krishna Balram temple, which by today's standards, the temple appears small, even though it's quite a big temple, but by the size of temples in the vicinity, in other areas, the temple looks but vibrant. No one can compare with this temple, right? Krishna Balram temple stands out. among all the temples in Vrindavan, even today, for being most vibrant. Even newcomers, they come to Krishna Balaram temple, they get carried away by the spirit of the temple, by the spirit that Srila Prabhupada has invested there in that place. And there is so much kirtan going on, so much katha going on, and so many devotees. It's not that here is a place that people will come and just leave, It holds you. The temple holds you. The darshan holds you. The prasadam, so many things. There is nothing to compare with Krishna Balaram temple even today. But in those days, it was the only temple in that place. So Prabhupada's vision has actually fructified. It has been fulfilled. He had created, probably Satsvarupa Maharaj is saying, the most beautiful and opulent temple in Vrindavan. Actually, if you have the vision, you will still say, yeah, it is the most beautiful temple. Because the presence of the Lord is very much felt here more than in any other place. That is actually very, very special. Certainly the one most alive with dynamic devotion and preaching spirit. And along with it, Srila Prabhupada had built one of the best local hotels for visitors with an eye for Krishna Bhakti. Visitors who come for Krishna Bhakti, he has also built a nice hotel where they can stay, have nice prasadam, and have Krishna Bhajan all day. They can stay, come for a weekend. You remember long back, Prabhupada told people from Delhi will come to Vrindavan for a weekend, and we'll give them a very good place to stay, very good prasadam, very good program, very nice darshans. We will give that, and Prabhupada has now accomplished that, fulfilled that dream. So Prabhupada was touring the grounds. Let me read. Prabhupada walked into the sunken courtyard, right? You come out from the main gate, you walk straight. Now we have Prabhupada Samadhi on the left. Obviously, it was not there at that time, correct? As you enter into the temple from main gate, you have the glorious marble Samadhi of Srila Prabhupada on the left-hand side. And both sides, you have a huge exhibition going on. That was obviously not there. You just keep walking, and then the sunken courtyard, sunk into the ground. You walk down and walk the courtyard, length of the courtyard, and then you climb some steps, and then the darshan is in front of you. So Prabhupada is walking there. The marble floor was clean and dazzling. This was not a rented house in America. In America, all the temples were rented houses, but this is not. Those were built for other purposes. But here, it was a temple. So Satsvarupa Maharaj is becoming ecstatic describing it, because throughout America, the buildings were meant for other purposes. We converted them into temple. But this is a temple built as a temple, like the temples in Vaikuntha, described in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is heaven on earth, Prabhupada said, seeing the temple. And Prabhupada added, I think it surpasses all the temples in India. Obviously, because of the devotees, it is definitely the most special temple all over India. Prabhupada stood smiling before the tamal tree. Its venerable branches spread throughout one corner of the courtyard. And Prabhupada was recounting how there was a discussion about cutting it down. But tamal trees are associated with the pastimes of Srimati Radharani. Anyone can tell a pastime of tamal tree associated with Srimati Radharani, devotees? Would like to recall?
Is it bumblebee?
Okay. Now, specifically tamal tree, because tamal tree, the trunk is dark in color and it is associated with Krishna. And all the gopis and Srimati Radharani, for them, when they see tamal tree, it immediately brings a memory of Krishna. Anything dark they see, they will immediately remember Krishna. So when Arishtasur came, for example, or Keshi came, the gopis were so scared and they hugged the tamal trees and thinking it is Krishna for protection. So tamal tree is always associated with the remembrance of Lord Sri Krishna. So Prabhupada says tamal tree is associated with the pastimes of Srimati Radharani because she sees Krishna. In the same way, in Kadamba tree, the flowers, they resemble the complexion of Srimati Radharani. So the Kadamba flowers are very dear to Krishna. So in turn, Kadamba tree is so dear to Krishna, and tamal tree is very dear to Srimati Radharani because it reminds her of the complexion of Lord Sri Krishna. So like that. So Prabhupada did not want. And by that time also, tamal trees were rare in Vrindavan. but we have a tree in our temple. In Vrindavan, there were perhaps only three. Satsvarupa Maharaj writes, one here in our temple, one at Seva Kunj, near to Radharaman, and one in the courtyard of Radha Damodar temple, where Prabhupada stayed in Vrindavan. So that is Radha. So three temples only. And this tamal tree was growing so luxuriantly in such a short span of time. Prabhupada said, listen carefully, Prabhupada said, indicated that the devotees were performing genuine bhakti. So these are symptoms that, okay, devotees are doing genuine bhakti, because tamal tree, which is actually a very spiritual tree that is growing luxuriantly, means the Lord is happy. So convinced that now Prabhupada is convinced that the temple is actually ready, Prabhupada entered into his residence just between the temple and the guest house. If you recollect, the guest house is there and the temple, and in between is Prabhupada's house, which was built first. Prabhupada's house came first. Many details demanded his attention. Still, there was so much work Prabhupada has to do, and many visiting disciples were present. Thus, in Raman Reti, in a place where there was no temple, right? Where there was no temple, a pure devotee desired. This is the pastime place of Krishna Balram. You remember Raman Reti. Raman Reti. Reti means sand. Raman Reti means the playing sands where Krishna Balram took pleasure in playing. So that is Raman Reti. A pure devotee desired, let there be a temple and seva and devotional service. It was a desire of a devotee, pure devotee. And what had once been an empty lot was now a place of pilgrimage. Such is the power of the desires of a pure devotee, right? So Prabhupada has realized one more of his dreams, right? So here is the epilogue to this book. We are coming to the epilogue of this sixth volume of Prabhupada Lilamrt. And Satsvarupa Maharaj is recollecting what Prabhupada would often say about his service in India. What is that? Vrindavan is my residence, right? Vrindavan is home, residence. And Bombay is my office, place of business, right? Bombay. And Mayapur is where I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is what Srila Prabhupada had told. So now you see, all three temples are arising simultaneously. Mayapur with great difficulty against many challenges, including from his own God brothers, to whom Prabhupada approached for help. Prabhupada approached his God brothers for help to get some land in Mayapur. And then later on, Prabhupada came to know that actually the same people whom he was approaching for help, they were blocking ISKCON from getting land in Mayapur. Then eventually the land came. You remember, cornerstone was laid and already Lotus building is there. The temple is there. Last week we discussed how Prabhupada will circumambulate the temple, ringing the bells vigorously, both sides of the altar, and how 500 devotees were jumping up and down behind him, right? And Prabhupada was giving Chaitanya Charitamrita classes, and how while giving Chaitanya Charitamrita class, Prabhupada went into ecstasy. For several minutes, the devotees are just watching. We heard all this. So these three places, Bombay, Mayapur, Vrindavan. Mayapur, already the temple is there. Juhu, after all the problems have been overcome, now Prabhupada said, daily there should be construction. At least one brick should go up so the whole world will know, yes, ISKCON is in control of the property and they are building the temple. And now Vrindavan ready for inauguration. Again, after so many struggles, the same Brajvasi who donated the land very happily, saying, for generations we are keeping this land only so that a nice devotee will come and build a temple for Krishna. And we are happily giving it to you. But then within a short while, they went back and said, the front portion we want it for a petrol bunk or some businesses, and back you can have. But then Prabhupada fought. He gave the story of, if anyone recollects, what is the story Prabhupada told the donor? He was a Vrajavasi. He knows what is Vrajdham. So Prabhupada told him a story and made him change his mind. What story was that?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, is that lending cow to a Brahmana?
Yeah.
And then again giving, the cow came back to the king. I forgot the king's name, Prabhuji.
Nirga. King.
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
That king later on became a lizard. He had donated millions of cows, and by mistake, one cow got donated twice. And both the Brahmanas would not agree for any other compensation. They said, "This is cow donated to me, I want it." So the king, after begging them, beseeching them, falling at their lotus feet, holding on, crying, no, they did not agree. And then he became a lizard. For how long? So many years that finally Krishna personally came and relieved him. Right? King Durga, maybe a million years, we don't know, was lying as a lizard in a well. So that is how that story goes. How that giving a charity and going back on that is a very, very serious thing. So now we are to the epilogue part of it. So the Juhu temple is also rising now, and Mayapur is already there, and Vrindavan, Prabhupada has come for the inauguration. So now we go into the epilogue. Bombay is the biggest commercial city in India, and Prabhupada's business was pure devotional service to Krishna. And in Bombay, he dealt more with managerial aspects of Krishna consciousness. So that is what became his center for business. Um, and Prabhupada incorporated ISKCON in India. ISKCON New York is there, correct? Where he registered in 1966. But Prabhupada also registered ISKCON in India with the main branch in Bombay. Bombay is the main branch. That means all other branches in India are part of ISKCON Bombay. All other temples in India are part of ISKCON Bombay. So all other branches, therefore, are legally part of the Bombay incorporation. So ISKCON is Bombay, and all other temples are the branches. In Bombay, Prabhupada had cultivated more lawyers and businessmen as life members, right, and more friends of his society than any other city in India. So really business, right? What is a business? Collecting more life members, collecting more donors, collecting more sponsors, collecting more friends who will support ISKCON. So that way it became lawyers and businessmen, so many in Bombay, more than the rest of India. So whenever Prabhupada was in Bombay, listen, Prabhupada was in Bombay, he often sought legal advice. Whatever legal advice Prabhupada needed, not just about Bombay, but for the whole of India. Legal affairs, you cannot imagine. If you come a little closer to the management in ISKCON, you will see so many issues are there, which has legal implications. Somebody will donate a land. The legal heirs will say, no, we want to take it back. Before that, some work would have been done. Some expenses would have been incurred. The property will be standing in the name of the original donor. That name would not have been transferred to ISKCON. Because people of, the ISKCON, the servants of ISKCON, they have so many other businesses to handle, and they are not legal experts, they don't know. So some donor has given a land, but then to transfer it to ISKCON's name, it takes time. In between, so many problems come, and somebody will lay claim on the land, like that. So many legal problems. So Prabhupada, whenever there is a legal problem in the rest of India, he would go to Bombay and take advice, because so many lawyers are life members and well-wishing friends of Srila Prabhupada. And Bombay was a modern city with professional office facilities on a level with many Western cities. Prabhupada wanted to locate. Next thing Prabhupada wanted was book trust. Bhaktivedanta book trust for India. He wanted to keep it in Bombay. So Bombay is both ISKCON headquarters and BBT headquarters. Book trust headquarters. Both are located in Bombay. And this trust would take care of Hindi translations and Indian translations, and also English versions to be reprinted for Indian market. So that way, Bombay, unlike Vrindavan and Mayapur, is not a dham. Vrindavan is a dham. Mayapur is a dham. But why Bombay became special for Prabhupada? So that is his acute vision. How he is thinking about the future of ISKCON. Right? It's his acute vision. As a pure devotee, he is also having the right kind of vision to see the future. You want to preach in India, you cannot neglect Bombay. All right? So that way, as a pure devotee, he was not worldly wise. He was not a worldly unwise person. He was worldly wise also. He knew how to deal with all such issues, right? We see that. So as devotees, we should also have all these qualities in us if we want to really serve the mission in the best possible way. We cannot say, I am only a devotee, I don't know all these, material aspects of finance, legal issues, construction. Prabhupada did everything. So that way, it's not a dham, but a bustling, wealthy city. ISKCON's biggest donors lived here. Although Prabhupada's demeanor was entirely transcendental. That means in Bombay, Prabhupada is not wearing coat, suit and all. And Prabhupada speaking only commercial business terms. No, Prabhupada is doing the same thing everywhere. His transcendental life and his activities were very similar to what he was doing in other parts. Speaking Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, worshipping the deity. Same thing Prabhupada was doing. But though it was his office, he wanted a temple. He could have just said, okay, it's my office. But no, he wanted a temple also there. Not that he wanted to neglect the Bombay people. I will just take donation and other help from them, but I will preach outside Bombay. Not like that. Prabhupada wanted a temple. So Prabhupada says, Mayapur is where I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now we come to Mayapur. Prabhupada conceived a temple to be built in Mayapur. Now see, Mayapur would be the grandest of all temples of ISKCON movement, not Bombay. Even though Bombay is the wealthiest place, contributing maximum finance and all that, but still, Prabhupada wanted the grandest temple in Mayapur, the spiritual city, not in the commercial city of Bombay. Spiritual city. In Bombay, he wanted a very attractive property in Juhu that people would really appreciate. Big restaurants, big hotels, and very nice darshan and all that. But still, the grandest temple would come up in Mayapur, such a remote place. No one even goes there. So we have to see, Prabhupada is not thinking on purely commercial lines, but Prabhupada is a pure devotee. He knows exactly how to conduct the movement. He and his devotees would worship the Supreme Lord in Mayapur in a magnificent style that the whole world would be attracted to Prabhupada's place of worship, Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir. So not that only purely through commercial thing you will attract people, but by spiritual, by magnificent worship of the Lord in Mayapur, in such a magnificent temple, the whole world will be attracted towards worship. So both Bombay and Mayapur, they have the place in ISKCON, right? Ultimately, we want to attract people by our worship towards Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bombay, there is commercial consideration because ISKCON also needs finance. So both BBT and ISKCON headquarters are located in Bombay. But Mayapur becomes the real headquarters, the spiritual headquarters of ISKCON. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, the prescribed worship for this age is Sankirtan, the chanting of the holy names of God. Sankirtana worship emanated from Mayapur, the original Dham of Lord Chaitanya. That is why the biggest temple there. The birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, from where Sankirtan movement sprouted and then spread all over India, and now, thanks to Srila Prabhupada, all over the world. In the age of Kali, Bhagavatam says, Lord Krishna appears in a golden form as Lord Chaitanya, and his activity is to chant Hare Krishna. People with sufficient intelligence will worship him in this form, right? Krishna Varnam, Tvisha Akrishnam, Sangopangastra Parshadam, Yajnai Sankirtana Praye, Yajantihi Sumeda Saha. This is what Bhagavatam says. This is exactly translation of that shloka. Intelligent people will worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, understanding that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, coming down as Yuga Avatar. He's not a Yuga Avatar. He's the Supreme Person himself. But he himself comes as the Yuga Avatar in every day of Brahma, under the 7th Manu, 28th Yuga cycle, at the junction of Dwapar and Kali Yuga. That time, the same Supreme Person comes. Every Yuga, every Kali Yuga, the Lord appears as Yuga Avatar. But in this particular Kali Yuga, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, with all his expansions, all his Leela avatars, Guna avatars, Manmantra, everybody put together, they descend in one form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The complete Supreme Person appears. So intelligent people will worship him, even though he comes as a devotee form. He doesn't claim to be God, nor does he allow others to say he is God. Whenever someone says, you are God, he will plug his ears and say, Vishnu, Vishnu. He will say, it's an aparad that you call an ordinary human being as the Supreme Lord. So he taught us that even today, what big mistake we are doing. Ordinary people, they do some miracles, they speak in a very powerful way, and we start worshipping them as Bhagavan. Such a great crime, such a sin. People don't realize that it's a sin to worship an ordinary human being as Bhagavan, as Supreme Person, as God. It's a crime. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's himself God, but he's totally objecting to anyone calling him as God, because this is a hidden incarnation, Channa avatar. In Kali Yuga, there is no direct avatar of the Lord. He doesn't come in an open way and disclosing that he is God. Unlike in other yugas, whether it is Ramchandra Murthy or Lord Sri Krishna, they are known as God. But here, he's hidden. He doesn't appear as God. He appears as a devotee of God. Panchatattvatmakam Krishna, Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam. He's coming as Bhakta Rupa, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu, Swarupa, Bhakta Swarupa, the first expansion, right? Bhakta Avatara, that is Advaita Acharya. Like that, he's a hidden avatar and he doesn't allow, because in Kali Yuga, people should never make anyone God, right? That's very, very important. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sumedasaha, only the most intelligent people will worship him as Supreme Person. Otherwise, the people will say, oh, he's a sannyasi, he's a very powerful preacher, right? He's a historic personality, he taught bhakti, like that. They will not know that he's God. So, Srila Prabhupada wanted to make the most wonderful worship of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his birthplace. And that's how we have the Panchatattva deities in Mayapur Chandraya temple, right? So, Prabhupada wanted to fulfill the predictions of the previous acharyas. They foresaw, listen carefully, write it down. They foresaw a great Vedic city rising from the plains of Navadvip. You know, Navadvip is just a plain. The Indo-Gangetic plain, the delta part, where it is just going to merge with the sea. That is a delta, complete plain, the great Indo-Gangetic plain. The Indo-Gangetic plain, and if you club it with the Saraswati, the Sindhu, the plain runs from Pakistan to Bengal, right? And even to Assam. It's a huge plain. And in that plain of Navadvip, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, and that is where this magnificent Chandrodaya Mandir, Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir arises. Mayapur could be also considered Prabhupada's place of worship. Satsvarupa Maharaj is giving more reasons why it is appropriately the place of worship, right? This is the place of worship because Prabhupada's spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, also preached extensively here in the Mayapur area. And also, his Samadhi is here. Saraswati Thakur Samadhi is there in Mayapur, where Chaitanya Gaudiya Mutt, that was the one property which was there before Prabhupada came. That Chaitanya Gaudiya Mutt, that is where the Samadhi Mandir of both Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his own Guru Maharaj, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. That Samadhi is also there. And also, it's called a Gupta Vrindavan because you have Shamkund, Radhakund, Giri Govardhan, all manifested by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. They are all within the campus of Chaitanya Gaudiya Mutt. You can visit the Vrindavan just by going to Chaitanya Gaudiya Mutt, where you see the holiest places on the universe. Govardhan, Shamkund, Radhakund, all of them are manifested Gupta Vrindavan, the secret Vrindavan of Mayapur. So, Srila Prabhupada's entire preaching mission was in the service of spiritual master. He worshipped his spiritual master through preaching in Mayapur. So this is the way Prabhupada worships his Guru Maharaj, by preaching in Mayapur. Mayapur was the origin and symbol of preaching Krishna consciousness, because there Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda actually began the Sankirtana movement, right? Namahatta Kuleche, right? Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan. Pati Yache Namahatta Jivera Karan. For the sake of all fallen souls like us, he opened the Namahatta, right? So Mayapur is a Namahatta, the marketplace of the holy name. So very appropriate that the place of worship should be situated there. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is Prabhupada's quote from Prabhupada's book. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to preach the Sankirtan movement of love of Krishna throughout the entire world, and therefore, during his presence, he inspired the Sankirtana movement. Specifically, he sent Rupa Goswami to Vrindavan and Nityananda to Bengal, and personally, he went to South India. See how he covered the Lord's plan. For the North India, he sent 6 Goswamis to Vrindavan. And for Bengal, the eastern side, he sent his own expansion, Nityananda Prabhu. And then Mahaprabhu personally went to South India. See, I don't know. That means Mahaprabhu gave the greatest importance to South India in one sense, because personally he covered South India, right? In those 2 years of time, when he first went to Puri, and immediately he left for South India, right? Where he met Ramananda Rai in Kovur. He met Gopal Bhatta Goswami as a little child in Srirangam. He stayed for all 4 months of Chaturmas in Rangakshetra, in Srirangam, right? In the house of Gopal Bhatt. Venkata Bhatt was his father, right? So he stayed. So whole South India, he told, the excuse he gave was, I have to look for my last brother, Vishwarupa. He took sannyas. My parents died. My father died of heartbreak because he left, and he took sannyas. I want to know what happened to him. Where is he? So with that excuse, Mahaprabhu started his South India Yatra. He went all the way down, Kurmakshetra, Srikakulam, Sri Simhacharam, Kovur, Rajamandri, like that he went down. He visited all the places on the east coast. He visited Tirumala, Sri Sailam, all this. Then he also covered the west, and eventually he reached Pandharpur. Amazing. Pandharpur, he came to know that his brother, he became Shankararanya, sannyasi, and then he disappeared somewhere in Pandharpur area, right? So, the Bhakti movement, just as we have a powerful Bhakti movement started by Mahaprabhu in Bengal, we see a Bhakti movement in Pandharpur also, in the western side, right? Actually, that was also inspired by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Like you see Namdev, Tukaram, all these people, they were almost contemporaries of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu either personally initiated them or appeared in their dreams, and he gave them the holy names. And that is how the Bhakti movement in the western side, Maharashtra, that also owes its origin to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, so that's what Prabhupada is writing. In this way, he sent Rupa Goswami to Vrindavan, Nityananda to Bengal, and personally went to South India. In this way, he kindly left the task. He kindly left the task of preaching his cult in the rest of the world to the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Prabhupada writing. So, we should not mistakenly think, oh, all the previous acharyas have only done within India, which is not such a very difficult thing. But distributing it throughout the world is a more difficult task. That's not the correct way to understand, right? That, okay, Prabhupada did the more difficult job, others did the more easy job. That way we should not try to distinguish, discriminate between acharyas. Oh, so-and-so is greater, so-and-so is lesser. No. The glory of Srila Prabhupada is because he is the disciple of his own Guru Maharaj. He represents the parampara system. We should not, within the parampara, we should not try to discriminate between a Bhajananandi or a Goshtanandi, or in terms of who accomplished more. We should not enter into that kind. That would be an offense. That would be offensive to make these kind of comparisons, right? So this is the way to see it. How Prabhupada is saying, this is the correct way to see it. Mahaprabhu kindly left the task of preaching his cult in the rest of the world to International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He knew this would come. His Senapati Bhakta would come, and he would distribute it throughout the world. Mahaprabhu himself was told, my Senapati Bhakta will come. Not that Krishna cannot do it himself as Mahaprabhu. that only that kind of understanding would be wrong, right? This is a materialistic way of looking at it. The correct way of looking at it is the whole business of Krishna consciousness is to create seva opportunities. To create seva. The highest joy of Krishna Prem is from seva, not Premananda. It is Sevananda which is considered the highest. You can feel love, but when the love translates into action on the ground, that is the greatest. And that is what is happening in spiritual world. In spiritual world, there is so much seva. Sometimes you will feel sort of confused. What confused? You see, gopis and Radharani, they are always busy plucking flowers, going to various parts of Vrindavan, trying to find out the best plants, the best flowers, and constantly collecting them, making garlands. You will think, Array, what is this going on here in the spiritual world? You just wish and a garland will come. Every tree is a desire-fulfilling tree. Every particle of sand is Chintamani. Every particle of sand can fulfill all your desires. Every tree, every cow is a Surabhi cow. Every cow can fulfill all your desires. And every one is a Lakshmi. Every gopi is herself a Lakshmi, representing individual energies of the Lord, unlimited energies of the Lord. They are represented by so many gopis. So in such a place, why does someone go looking for flowers and plucking them with great difficulty? There is a nice story told. Rupa Goswami once unwittingly committed an offense to a Vaishnava who was handicapped. He was a lame Vaishnava. He was passing that side. And Rupa Goswami was absorbed in the pastimes of Krishna. What pastime he was seeing? Radharani was trying to pluck some flower from a branch of a tree. It's hanging a little high. She is trying to reach and she is not able to reach. So Krishna came and lifted her up, hoisted her up on his shoulder so that she can. And so she was holding on to that branch and plucking the flowers. And suddenly Krishna left her and she was just hanging from a height, saying, Krishna, Krishna. And Rupa Goswami saw this and laughed. But this Vaishnava thought he laughed at me. And that became this a lesson to teach all of us that we should not commit offenses. But that way, this is completely, the spiritual world is full of seva. Seva, 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 seva. And Mother Yashoda calls Radharani to cook for Krishna. And cooking means gathering all the ingredients, cleaning the kitchen, creating the fire. You have to go for chula. You should have firewood. You should have cow dung cake. So people have to make cow dung patties that they have to put it on the walls. Everything. It is there. But everything is happening in prema. In prema, you don't want others to help you. You want to do everything yourself. You want to serve Krishna from A to Z. You want to do. Everyone is eager to render that kind of services. So that is what, once Birbal was trying to explain to Akbar and he did not understand. Akbar wanted to know why the Supreme Lord himself has to come. He has unlimited servants. He can send them down and whatever mission he has can be accomplished. Why does he come down personally? So Birbal could not explain it. He said, Alampana, give me some time. I will tell you. And in a way you can understand. So one day they went on a pleasure ride. The king was there, the queens were there, the children were there, and Birbal was there, and they were on pleasure boating ride on Ganga. Right? And suddenly Birbal picked up the very dear child of Akbar, just maybe 1 or 2 years old, threw him into Ganga. And then what happened? So many servants are there in the boat and everybody is ready to go and pick the child back. But Akbar, with all his royal dress, he jumped into the water. He gathered his son in his arms and he came back and climbed onto the boat and angrily looked at the Birbal and said, why did you do this? Then Birbal looked at Akbar and said, why did you do this? Do what? My son is in danger. I jumped and went to save him. He said, but you have so many servants. So many boats are accompanying you. Why? Then Akbar understood, in a very practical way, Birbal has made me understand why the Lord personally descends to this world. It's all seva, seva. Actually, the greatest glory of the Lord is not that He is all powerful, omniscient, omnipresent, all that. That is in a very material way. We understand the glory of the Lord. But the real glory of the Lord is that when all of us start loving Him, when all the souls start loving Krishna, they cannot keep quiet. Love Krishna and keep gazing at Him and keep quiet. No, that's not what the pure soul does. The pure soul hankers for service. If you read the stories of great devotees, you will realize how much they hanker for service to Krishna. So it is Krishna's business. There are unlimited souls hankering for seva in prema. Krishna has to give them all seva. So spiritual world is full of seva opportunities. That is why the Aishwarya is hidden. If Aishwarya is very much present, then seva opportunities will become hidden. Like in Gopakumar, I think we are running over time. Is it okay if I take a few more minutes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
When Gopakumar goes to Vaikuntha, or even he goes to Dwarka, Vaikuntha Dwarka, right? He is always dressed in Gopa's dress, in the very simple dress of a Gopa. So in Vaikuntha, they tell him, Arey, you have now come to Vaikuntha. You can get rid of that dress. You just desire and you will get like us, you will get 4 arms, Shankh, Chakra, Gada, Padma, you will get like us. And you will get such opulent garments and opulent ornaments and crowns and so many things. You just wish it will be fulfilled. Baba, no, I am all right with this. I do not. See the mood of Gopal. See, actually, if you read Brihad Bhagavatam, we will understand what distinguishes a devotee. Not that Vaikuntha people are not devotees. Please don't mistake. They are in Aishwarya. They are serving the Lord in the mood of Aishwarya. But a person in complete Madhurya will not be satisfied with that kind of service. He goes to Dwarka again, Vaikuntha Dwarka. And there also, people are telling, you have now come to Dwarka, the place of all opulence. You just become like us. Like Yadavas, they are Kshatriyas. They are very amazingly dressed, right? In a royal Kshatriya dress with the sword and all that. And you are carrying a flute and in the simple dress of a Gopa, you just become like us. They all lovingly tell him, not that they look down upon him. See, the biggest problem for us, the moment we hear such topics, we will bring our 3 gunas. We will enter into all these pastimes of the 3 gunas and we will not understand properly. We will go with so many more doubts, actually. But actually, if you try to understand, visualize these things, they are not looking down. Gopa dress is very not nice. What is this? You are thinking, you be like us. Then only you will fit into this. Not like that. They very lovingly, there is a newcomer. Very nice. Please welcome. Be like us. Like that. They are just trying to absorb him into their association. Correct? No. Otherwise, they may feel, he's feeling left out. No, don't worry. You just desire. You will get that dress. Like that. But Gopakumar doesn't want. And ultimately, in Goloka, you go step by step, Krishna hides his Aishwarya as you go higher. And ultimately, Krishna is just a Gopa boy in the ultimate Goloka. And everybody sees him as just a lovable boy, the son of Nanda, Brajendra Nanda. Aradhya Bhagavan, Brajeshatanayaha, Tad Dhama Vrindavana. You worship Brajeshatanaya, Nanda's son. He's not even Krishna, he's Nanda's son. Aradhya Bhagavan, Brajeshatanaya. Tad Dhama Vrindavan. And where do you worship him? Only in Vrindavan. You don't, there is Krishna. I can worship him in Dwarka. I can worship him in Mathura. No. Worship him in Vrindavan. Where he is completely shorn of all the opulence. Just a pure, lovable boy to whom the gopis become so much attracted. And they cannot leave his company. One moment without his association, they cannot live. They will just die. They see Narayana in front of them, but they just ask him, please tell us where Krishna went. That's all. We don't need anything more from you. The Supreme Person is chanting. No. We just want our Krishna. So what are they doing? They are patting cow dung. They are collecting cow dung in baskets and they are making patties on the walls and drying them, collecting them. They are busy all day. morning to evening until Krishna returns from the pasturing grounds. They are waiting for him, but they are busy doing work. Not that they are simply sitting like this and waiting for Krishna. They are very, very busy people. They are very busy. But while they are busy, they are singing the songs of Krishna. They are working for Krishna. They are singing for Krishna. They are making poems of all the pastimes of Krishna. Yashoda Maharani, she's always singing. And she's personally churning the curd. She's a queen. Why she has to do? But out of love, she's doing. So everyone in Vrindavan is in love with Krishna, and everyone is engaged in the most menial services for Krishna. And there is no distinction of who is higher, who is lower. Everybody is doing. So that way, that seva, and this is what Prabhupada is saying. In this way, Mahaprabhu kindly left the task of preaching his cult in the rest of the world. What an exciting seva he has left for us, right? What an exciting seva. Now, do you think, oh, there was one seva left and that seva Prabhupada has done? Now there is no seva left for us. Do you think like that, devotees? What do you think?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
No problem.
Prabhuji, lot of seva opportunities. In fact, on Janmashtami, we had the blessing of going to Maharati, Prabhuji. Here in Coimbatore, a big temple is coming up. Sudarshana Chakra was installed on 15th August, Prabhuji. And we had gone to that new temple. Radha Krishna Kalasha Abhishekam was there. So we were able to witness. In fact, we were thinking of Lilamrt only because incomplete building, how Prabhupada would have witnessed each building, each pillars. Both myself and Sumati Mataji were saying how Prabhupada would have seen and how many temples would have come. And we saw after that, this note, Prabhuji, prasadam, lot of plates were thrown. I was thinking how many people will get an opportunity to serve by cleaning. So this temple itself, we were discussing how many seva opportunities, how much purification, just one temple, so much people will be purified. So immense opportunities for seva, Prabhuji. Hare
Exactly.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, what we see as a chore now, oh, it's such a, oh, it is left now, we have to clean up. Oh, the festival is now over, now the cleaning up starts. Oh, we have to do so much wiping, mopping, cleaning, throwing garbage and all that. But actually, these are all ecstatic opportunities for seva. So actually, when one rises in devotion, the most menial service becomes the most exciting service. We read, I'm sorry, another 5 minutes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You read in Journey Home, the autobiography of His Holiness Radhanath Swami. He meets one Vrajvasi by name Ghanshyam Baba. And this Ghanshyam Baba is living in such simple thing. He's from a very rich family. He came to Vrindavan with family, but when the rest of the family was leaving, he did not want to go back. So they tried for some time and they gave up on him. They said, you will not inherit any of our properties, just be there. That's all. Okay. It's a long story. I will not go into all the details. When His Holiness Radhanath Swami met him, he was not a Swami. He was just a 19-year-old boy, Richard Slavin, that was his name. He had come from India. He was he had first gone to Himalayas, and in Himalayas, he changed his dress of jeans and turtleneck sweatshirts and all that. He became a regular Baba. Someone in the Himalayas gave him this Baba Vesh dress. So with that, he went, and he knew nothing. He was in Vrindavan, and somehow he came in the association of Ghanshyam Baba, and Ghanshyam Baba welcomed him like anything. He would say, remember, listen to this very carefully. He would say, you are a friend of Krishna. He's an American, he doesn't know anything, but Ghanshyam Baba is telling him, you are a friend of Krishna. I am a servant of Krishna. So you should allow me to serve you. You should not serve me. You are a friend. I am a servant. So I will only serve. This was his real mood. Like that it went on. Richard Slavin, later on, Radhanath Swami, he stayed in his association for several months. And then he had to go to America. That time, Ghanshyam Baba said, I come to know that there is a place called New Vrindavan in America. And I want you to go there and do Pujari service. Okay. And later on, actually it manifested like that. He went to New Vrindavan and he became Pujari for many, many years. But in between here, this Ghanshyam Baba, after becoming Swami, okay, he came back. Radhanath Swami, I'm sorry, I'm mixing up things. By this time, Ghanshyam Baba was very old. Even when the first meeting took place, Ghanshyam Baba was very old. He would go with a pail to Yamuna to fetch water to perform Abhishek to his Radha Krishna deities. He had his own Radha Krishna deities. He got them from under the ground miraculously. And he was serving them daily. The story will become very long. So, Richard Slavin would walk with him to the river. And when he's bringing the pail, filled with water, Ghanshyam Baba was very old, frail, shivering. So this service he had done for many, many years. But now his body is no longer fit. He's having difficulty lifting the pail. And he will carry a few steps, put it down, again lift it up, change hands from left to right and all. So, Richard Slavin insisted, no, allow me to do this. Please let me carry it for you. And he snatched it from Ghanshyam Baba's hands. And then Ghanshyam Baba started crying. Uncontrollably, he started crying, saying that this is the only seva I have now and you are taking it away from me. Please allow me to do this seva. Please allow me to do this seva, like that. And just a few days earlier, he would give seva to Richard, saying, see, the deities are now very heavy. I cannot lift them. Will you do this service? Will you put them to bed? Right? He would fan, please, will you put them to bed? I cannot lift them, like that. So this one service, he was not willing to part with it. An ordinary person like me will think, oh, how much trouble he's undergoing. They're carrying this water all the way from Yamuna to his temple to perform Abhishek. If someone can help him, it will be so nice. But actually, he doesn't want. He is getting so much joy performing that particular seva. Actually, the journey home, cover to cover, it's an unputdownable book. But that bit is really, really amazing. The whole pastime of Ghanshyam Baba is so very amazing that you learn many, many lessons of how seva is joyful. In fact, seva is the highest joy. In Shantaras, there is no seva, right? You appreciate with awe and reverence the glories of the Lord. You are able to admire the 64 qualities of the Lord from a distance, and you are so happy, constantly remembering that. And you are Savloka, Samipya, Samipya, you have come close to him. But still you are in Shantaras. You are not fit for doing seva. You are in Shantaras. But then the seva starts at the level of Dasya. And the seva rises from Shanta to Sakya. One should not think, oh, in Shantaras, in Dasyaras, there is a lot of seva. In Sakya, the seva comes down. And in Vatsalya, it is even less. And in Madhurya, no seva. That is a completely wrong understanding. The seva keeps rising in terms of its own quality. The quality of the seva rises from Dasya to Sakya to Vatsalya to Madhurya. The investment of the heart. See, very difficult for us to visualize this because everything is Purna. It's not that Shantaras is less Purna. It's Purna. But within Purna, we have Purnatara, Purnatama. It rises. That's why we say Krishna is dynamic. You should not think, oh, God means God. It's static, right? God means God. What is that? If there is scope for God to grow, then he's not God yet. He is going to become God. He's growing. Someday he will be God, but it's not like that. The perfect understanding of God is that he's dynamic. Like all the acharyas say, one thing that Krishna also doesn't know is the limit of his own glories. Oh, there is a limitation. No, it's not a limitation. It's a glory in itself. Because the glories are constantly growing. The Ananta says, with his 1,000 mouths, he's describing the glories of the Lord from the beginning of time to the end of time. It's never complete. There's a competition going on. The Lord's glories are growing. And Ananta says is describing. Even as he's describing, the glories are growing. So it is like that. So the greatest is that seva. It is ultimately seva. What we find painful at this stage is simply because our prema is not yet arisen. That is the only distinction between sadhana bhakti and sadhya bhakti, which is prema bhakti. In sadhana bhakti, we lack the taste, but we have the faith. We have to hold on to that faith. That is the greatest gift that we have got. Guru Krishna Prasade Paya, Bhakti Lata Beach. What is that beach? The beach of Shraddha. Oh, I want it. I will one day get it. I have to just follow Mahajano Yena Ghatasya Panta. I just walk on the footsteps of the great Mahajanas, and one day I will have it. So that is called Vaidhi Sadhana. The Vidhi, the rules and regulations are laid down by the Acharyas, scripture, sadhu, shastra, and they give that to us. And what have they given? What is happening in the spiritual world spontaneously, out of prema, there is no rule there. It's happening spontaneously. Krishna is served in the best possible way spontaneously, not by asking, oh Krishna, how would you like me to serve you? No need to ask. Like Thalavan pastime we saw, no? The devotees, the Gopas say, oh Thalavan, the fruits are so inviting, enticing, we want to go and enjoy. They don't want to enjoy. They want Krishna to enjoy killing of Dhenukasha. But we will not externally know. We will think, oh, see, in Gopas, in the association of Krishna, they want to taste thala fruits. They are not complete. This will be a wrong understanding. So, okay. So, ultimately, it is all seva. Now we are in Vaidhi sadhana. The seva sometimes looks painful. We want to avoid. We think something is too much for us. I cannot do it and all that. But as we go on doing this Vaidhi sadhana, slowly, the anarthas leave, the prema rises in our heart, and then it becomes more and more pleasurable. And the most menial task becomes the most pleasurable at the highest stage. And if the devotees are standing in a line in front of Krishna, the one standing right at the end will have the greatest ecstasy. You have the greatest ecstasy. There is no question of someone getting less, someone getting more in the spiritual world. Then it won't be the spiritual world at all. It is the place where every single desire becomes fulfilled all the time. And then it's more. So it fills you with so much gratitude that you want to do more and more. The more you do service, the more gratitude grows. And so you want to do even more service. And Krishna's greatest glory is he has service for everyone, according to their own conditions. He has the perfect service for each and every soul. So thank you very much for your patience. We will stop here. If you have any questions or comments, please go ahead. And then we will continue next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I was feeling so low today, Prabhuji. Just got charged up after this, Prabhuji. Today morning itself, I was